The music industry generally enforces a specific retirement plan for pop stars entering their fourth decade. The expectation is a slow domestication, a reliance on nostalgia tours, and a transition into becoming a museum piece of one's former self. This is the standard trajectory for cultural relevance. After an initial peak, the line flatlines into a long, low plateau, the designated legacy phase. In June 2026, that plateau was interrupted by a violent vertical spike. It began with a guerrilla mobilization in Times Square. Using the Grindr app, Madonna broadcast a surprise performance to users in 190 countries, drawing thousands to the streets with only 30 minutes notice. Days later, the strategy shifted to the high art setting of the Tribeca Film Festival for a device-free premiere that required attendees to lock their phones in pouches before the screening. This takeover was built around Confessions 2, the film, a 13-minute cinematic sequence directed by the duo Torso that connects the first 6 tracks of the album into a single, non-linear experience. This cycle bypasses the standard mechanics of an album rollout. It is a deliberate collision of street-level disruption and cinematic prestige that reasserts her presence across every available media platform. Tracing the specific visual echoes in the film reveals how she anchors this new material in her own history, beginning with her 1980s New York roots. The film's danceteria sequence refers directly to the Manhattan Club where her career began, recreating the energy of the underground scene she once inhabited. She populates this dance floor with longtime collaborators like Kate Moss, who provides a link to a specific era of fashion and club culture. The appearance of Debbie Mazar further tethers the project to a documented reality, placing a friend from her pre-fame life back into the center of the frame. These inclusions connect the high-fashion aesthetic of 2026 back to the raw, unpolished origin point of her career. By utilizing these specific figures from her past, she uses her own biography as an active structural element in the new production. The film then moves from the open dance floor into a claustrophobic club bathroom to explore the loss of privacy that comes with global visibility. This sequence visualizes the shadows mentioned in the opening narration, a relentless battery of camera flashes and an encroaching crowd. It is a stylized recreation of the suffocating media attention that has tracked her movements for over 40 years. Inside the bathroom, a series of surreal celebrity appearances blurs the line between a public performance and an intimate space. Benedict Cumberbatch appears, being forcefully directed to lip-sync lines from the track. Gwendolyn Christie is seen observing the chaos while wearing a pinstripe suit that references Madonna's own past wardrobe. Richard E. Grant is shown holding court in the stalls, alongside a new generation of electronic artists. This sequence summarizes the inescapable environment of high-level fame, a space where every private moment is recorded and performed. To escape this surveillance, the film returns to the dance floor as a site of ritual. She describes the dance floor as a threshold where movement replaces language, aiming to dissolve the ego through repetitive sound and light. This leads to the film's central visual transition. A woman whips her hair in slow motion, her features seamlessly morphing into a different woman. The new face belongs to Julia Garner, the actress cast to portray Madonna in her own musical biopic. By physically transforming into the performer hired to play her, Madonna takes control of her own historical narrative, asserting ownership of her mythology before it can be interpreted by others. This visual ownership connects directly to her strategy in the current pop landscape. Her collaboration with Sabrina Carpenter on the lead single pulls a current chart-topping artist into her creative sphere. She maintains this relevance through high-visibility festival sets and partnerships with contemporary electronic producers. The film ends with a symbolic handoff that closes the narrative loop. The final shot features her daughter, Lourdes Leon, looking into the camera to deliver the closing line, "Cut bitch." Confessions 2 demonstrates how Madonna utilizes her history to fuel her present. By absorbing the future into her orbit and directing her own biopic transition, she ensures she remains the primary architect of her image, commanding the legacy rather than surrendering to it.